All right, what's going on, guys? RallyWerks Garage, still missing the sign. Kove 450 Rally Pro. We've got the mount set up, and we're talking about how to convert your Kove 450 Rally Pro to a tablet mount with a little bit of adjustment. Now, something to note on this is these brackets will work wherever the F2R roadbook holder, like a RB830, which is what comes standard on the Kove, is bolted to. So there are a couple other bikes that it'll work on, and then with the adjustability that we built into it, makes it a little bit easier. So second half of this video, we'll talk about the kind of like the assembly of it and how it all goes together. But let's take a quick look at what this looks like. So jump up on the bike here. All right, so this is now the cockpit on my Kove 450 Rally Pro. Our standard issue indicator lights down there, check engine, low fuel, lights, neutral, all that fun stuff. But we've got the Galaxy Tab Active 3 mounted to this. So this is a rugged, no pen, and I say rugged because who knows, and it is off-road riding and stuff like that. This has already done SoCal Rally once, so I'm thinking it's gonna hold up for now. But that is the tablet. Oh, Rally Comp Evo tracking unit for the Rally Comp. So this is to do testing. Another part of what I do is events and rallies and things like that, and I work directly with Rally Comp on the tracking side of things, setup, administrative, event coordinating, all of that fun. So this is the Gamber Johnson, and I talk about it a little bit in the install video, but this is the Gamber Johnson tablet mount. The only way to fly, as far as I am concerned, when it comes to the Tab Active 3, you've got charging on the pins down here rather than the USB-C port. It just works really, really well. So you'll see in the video what's underneath this mount, which is, you know, on there, is the Moto-minded Stout mount, which allows me to give it a few degrees or a few millimeters up and a few millimeters down. There's a couple of different holes there. You can rotate the plate and different. So we tried to add some adjustability because not all tablets are the same. You might want it a little bit higher, you might want it a little bit back. Also did this wedge over here to mount the tracking antenna. Typically in a rally setup, you would be using a second, either could be a Rally Comp Evo, the Rally Comp retail unit, or you could also be using different ICO, RNS unit, something along those lines. So usually there's two devices. The Kove 450 Rally Pro comes with two ICOs that go there, but I'm not doing that. The Rally Comp will take care of what I need. So over here, I just created this wedge to be able to mount the tracking antenna. So this is the satellite tracking. So if I'm out in the middle of nowhere, this thing, people can see my location, or the Rally Comp staff, I should say, should be able to see my location or the organization as well. So two-way messaging, all sorts of fun stuff. But anyway, that's what we're talking about. This is the, let's just keep moving this until it breaks. Yeah, I'm okay with that. So anyway, okay, that's the setup. That's what I got going on. That's how I converted it to the tablet. I think the height is good. Everything is good. Snaps right in just like that. Everything is pretty. I mean, my OCD says the Rally Comp should be higher because the screen should be exactly flush within 0.03 millimeters of depth here. But yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, enough of being sarcastic. All right, here's the rest of the video. Check out how this thing goes together and gets bolted onto the tower. Really straightforward. Drop the comments below. What should we do? You guys want the 3D print files? Should I print a few up, sell them? I don't know. What do you guys think? All right, let's get to it. Hot day in San Diego, but we're trying to get things done. Kove 450 Rally. We've got a Rally Comp on the way for this thing, and I am going with a tablet. So tablet roadbook, tablet for GPS, that kind of thing. It works really, really well for doing quick roadbooks and quick things like that. I still have the RB830, 730, the stock roadbook holder for the paper roll chart that comes with the Kove, but I needed to mount a tablet on this thing to be able to use that more as my daily driver kind of deal. So Got some brackets. Of course, this thing's got some miles on it too, and it's like still flat. It's perfect. This is the Moto-minded Stout mount. You can either get their setup that has the bar clamps on it for 90 millimeters, which the Kove is not 90 millimeters. So I'm gonna guess it's probably, I don't know, 106 or something like that. Probably Honda size. Anyway, so you can get these Stout mount plates from Moto-minded directly on their website. I'll drop a link in the description for you guys. These are gonna be, I don't know, should we sell these? Do you guys think there's a market? You know, nice and tough. Okay, so we made an adapter. I'm gonna bolt it together really quick just so you guys can kind of see how it goes. This is my Gamber Johnson tab holder. This is for a Galaxy Tab Active 3 that I run on it. Yes, it's not the brightest. No, I would never compete with it. No, I don't compete anyway. It just works. It's a good solid tablet, uses the pins for charging. This thing will run a tablet, run that thing full brightness, Gaia GPS and Pieced running all together, full brightness, will not lose a single % of battery all day long. So that sounds like, well, yeah, it's plugged into power. That's actually a thing. So at SoCal Rally, had a lot of guys that were fighting the battle between battery life versus screen brightness versus what apps were running, and they were running out of battery halfway through the day. This thing was solid. Anyway, not sponsored by them. I spent my own money on this badassery here. So, okay, so let's get this thing bolted together on here. You're gonna notice that there's offset on it. So these are designed to mimic the roadbook. And then we have some stainless steel hardware with, of course, the Gucci finishing washers on there. So what we do is plug these in. Now I might change these, I may not. These are 5mm. The roadbook holder itself from Kove has enough room for a 6mm bolt, but we're not gonna, I don't know if we'll go that far with it. So let's see how many times I drop these bolts. There's a recess in there for the nut. I use nuts that have the kind of washer integrated in them already. I find that they're a little bit handier to use, or I should say handy or easy or whatever it is. But you want, I think with anything 3D printed, it's all about surface area. You want to try and grab as much surface area as you can to make sure that you're applying pressure across a bigger surface. I mean, like for any typical reason that you would want more surface area on something. So you want to use a bigger area that will help spread the load. So we're gonna go through, gotta use the open end. Now kind of what I want to do is I'm not gonna snug it up yet. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get the Stout mount on there as well. I've bolted it already. I've done it in reverse order of operations. In other words, tighten all that down and then put this thing on, and it fits nicely. Give away some of the sauce. When you buy the kit, they normally come with a button head cap screw. And what I'm doing is I'm using a hex head on it because once I get my stuff bolted down, I don't want to have, I don't want to take everything apart to be able to slide it back and forth. And you're going to see here, so one of the things that I did in designing this is I put a forward and an aft position. And basically what that allows you to do is, see, this thing has, I don't know, maybe 20mm worth of movement. Well, the way it's set up is you can actually put this upside down. Let's find the proper holes. You can actually put this upside down, and now you're kind of closer to the bottom. You could even move these, and you're even closer to the bottom if you need to. So it gives you some adjustability on it. Does it need it? Probably not, but you know, I figured the more adjustment you have, the better off it's going to be. So why mess with it, or why try and get it so precise? I don't want to eliminate it from being useful. The cool part about this is as I'm doing this. I designed this for the Kove, but this pattern is actually the same as the roadbook holders. This tray here is basically standard for a roadbook holder. So using these brackets, you could pretty much adapt this to any roadbook holder place. The reason I didn't redo this whole bracket is because I still have a couple things going on. I've got the rally comp that's gonna go on that side, and then I have my antenna perch that goes on this side. So this gives you a little bit of a platform to actually mount an antenna and not have a second ICO. So budget friendly, I guess. You know, ICOs get really expensive, or RNS units are even more expensive. So, you know, budget stuff. But now we're gonna put these, and again, this is what I meant of getting a bigger, I'm using a fender washer on these because these have a bigger diameter to it. So again, more surface area. And also, because this is 3D printed, these are printed out of this version. This version is printed out of a ASA carbon fiber. So it's a pretty pricey material, and can be a little finicky to print, especially if you're in a humid climate. San Diego's not necessarily that, but you know, it can be a little finicky to print, but it is super tough. So this is kind of what it looks like, all just kind of mocked up. I'm gonna tighten all the bolts right now, get everything into place, and then we'll get this back up onto where it belongs, and that thing will be ready to go. But that's pretty much what we're doing. When you tighten this up, I don't know if I've already said this, I can't stress it enough. When you tighten this up, do not go hog wild on it. All you need to do is just get it to where it needs to be. It is not, you're not bolting a bunch of really heavy things on it. What? Look at that. Totally an accident. So don't go wild on it. I did strategically print this in a certain way with certain settings so that it would be strong in certain places, but that doesn't mean it's gonna take 600 foot-pounds of torque. So do take it easy. I would probably just say snugging it up is gonna be more than plenty. And you can feel when it gets there. It's not like it's spongy. So then we do this one. This took like 4 revisions. And if you've ever had to try and freehand a bolt pattern, if you do any kind of design work, some of it is a leap of faith. You're trusting that the engineer or the person that designed the part would have used a round number and not some random, you know, number out of the blue. So there it is. So now what we do is we're going to snug these up a little bit. I don't even actually really need to do that. We'll get this on here like so. Then we're gonna get the tab mount there. Now, depending on what size bolts you use, you're gonna need some kind of spacer to get this up off the ground, just to make sure you have clearance for the bolts. So what I did here is I should have, yeah, there we go. I don't know if you can kind of see that. I got just enough room to sneak the wrench in there, and then that will give me that forward and back adjustment that I want. So that is the setup. I'll do another video where we wire it up. I'll take a picture for the thumbnail of what this looks like when it's assembled, put into its place. But damn, I'm stoked. Yeah, this is, I'm excited. Maybe now I could go ride it. Oh, can't forget, got to do the wedge. I don't know, what should we call this wedge? The wedge. We'll put that in there. That's what it's going to look like there. You can see it doesn't interfere even in its lowest position. It will bump up here if you go too high, but again, I think it's just about finding that sweet spot. I'd probably even rock it down in the lowest position for now. Again, this is designed for the roadbook holder, not necessarily for the tablet mount. Looks like we are dead spot on center, so this thing is a go. All right, that is the roadbook tablet adapter for the Kove 450 Rally. Like, share, subscribe, do all of that fun stuff. I'm gonna bolt this thing down. I'm not gonna bore you with all of that stuff. You've pretty much seen how it goes together. Links will be down in the description. We'll get this thing mounted, sorted, and ready to go. And just waiting on FedEx for that rally comp. So excited about that thing. We're gonna get ready to go do some road books. Baja Rally coming up, all that stuff. Stay tuned for that as well. And yeah, anyway, that being said, see you guys.